Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Ocarina of Time Randomizer update video. In this video, we're going to be covering the changes for the 7.0 release. A new setting called Dungeon Shortcuts has been added that opens shortcuts in Blue Warp dungeons to the boss room. This toggle is available per dungeon and affects glitchless logic. My personal new favorite setting is keyrings, which can be enabled per dungeon to replace all of its individual small keys into a singular small key ring, which contains all the small keys for that dungeon. The Master Quest Dungeon settings have been replaced with the Master Quest Dungeons mode, which allows you to now select which specific dungeons are Master Quest dungeons and how many are additionally Master Quest at random. A new setting has been added called Shuffle Boss Entrances, which shuffles the boss rooms between dungeons. This is only available in glitchless logic. There is a new setting for Rainbow Bridge and Ganon's boss key to be obtained upon reaching a certain amount of total heart containers. A new setting called Easier Fire Arrow Entry allows you to set the amount of torches that must be lit in order to open the Shadow Temple. Ganon's Castle is now included in the pool for shuffling the dungeon entrances. There is a new setting called Pre-Completed Dungeons, which allows some dungeons to be filled with junk and their dungeon rewards to be given as a starting item. Dungeon items such as keys and maps, etc. can now be placed in the same region as their dungeon with the new regional setting. If small keys are set to regional, for example, then small keys for Forest Temple can be found in the temple itself, Sacred Forest Meadow, Lost Woods, Kokiri Forest, or Deku Tree. There was originally a magic jar drop in the Gerudo Training Grounds and a Deku shield in the Spirit Temple that wouldn't spawn due to their respective objects not being loaded. The new setting, Fix Broken Drops, puts these back in. The cutscenes that happen when you throw a bomb at the boulder and when you blow up the boulder in front of Dodongo's cavern have been removed. Certain switches in Master Quest dungeons have been moved down 1 unit, so they're less difficult for Link to walk onto. The map for the Master Quest Fire Temple has had the missing hammer chest added back in, and the like in there will now return the player's shield when defeated. This setting, chest size matches contents, has been replaced by chest appearance matches contents. Unique textures are applied to chests containing major items, small keys, boss keys, spell tokens, and remaining items. An additional option in the drop-down menu also changes chest sizes like the previous setting. When this setting is enabled, the red ice transparency is increased to more easily see the items. Along with this new option is another one called Minor Items in Big/Gold chests that make any chest containing shields or bomb chews gold or large depending upon your setting. A new setting, Invisible Chests, has been added that makes all chests in the game invisible. Zora's River Frog rupees are now shuffled into the item pool if you enable Shuffle Frog Song rupees. These locations are considered sometimes hints in the hint pool. A new item pool setting called Ludicrous makes it so every check will be a major item. The new drop-down menu setting, Shuffle Child Trade Item, has combined both the Skip Child Zelda and the Shuffle Weird Egg setting. The adult earliest and latest trade item settings have been combined into a multi-select adult trade sequence item, which allows you to add a checkmark to whichever item you wish to add as a starting item for the adult trade quest. If you wish to select a specific item, add a checkmark to only that item on the list. If you want it to be random out of specific selections, keep the ones checked that you'd like it to choose from. All ice traps cloaked as major items will now give the slow chest opening cutscene when fast chest cutscenes is disabled. There was an issue where the setting Skip Child Zelda could give a weapon with no ammo or overwrite starting Triforce pieces, which has now been fixed in this version. Combining the plentiful item pool while also adding starting hearts will no longer result in more heart containers being in the item pool than intended. Junk can now be placed on any excluded song locations when songs are set to only be at song locations and a song is started with. This typically happens when Skip Child Zelda is enabled. There's a new setting, Shuffle Rupees and Hearts, which allows you to shuffle freestanding rupees and recovery hearts in the world. Two new settings, Shuffle Pots and Shuffle Crates, have been added to the randomizer, which allows you to shuffle items from pots and crates that would normally drop an item. Along with those new settings, the setting Pot and Crate Appearances Matches Contents has been added, which changes the pot and crate textures when using one of the above settings, similar to how chest appearance matches contents changes the way that chests look. A couple new miscellaneous hints have been added. The first is Dompe's diary, which reveals the location of a hookshot. The second is a hint for each of the Skulltula rewards. This will make it so each member of the cursed family will tell you what the reward they give is before being rescued. This prevents those locations from being conditional always hints. You can now fine-tune which set of miscellaneous hints to enable or disable by expanding the miscellaneous hints dropdown and selecting which locations you'd like to enable or disable. A new hint type has been added called Dual Hint, which allows multiple locations to be hinted in the same hint. Hint distributions can also use the new option, Upgrade Hints, to upgrade some hints to dual hints. A new option has been added to the hint distribution dropdown called Chaos. This option completely randomizes the hint types with only a single copy of each hint being included. The Goron City Metagoron has been fixed to now be a hintable location. Some goal hint colors have been corrected and more junk hints have been added. When viewing the spoiler log, you can now find hinted items and locations for a Gossip Stone hint. Ghoul hints are also now selected based on their category rather than their parent ghoul. A fix has been implemented to prevent a crash when certain settings related to light arrow hints are combined. A new cosmetic option turns off the battle music from being near enemies, which allows the background music to continue playing. This setting is fittingly called Disable Battle Music. You're now able to change the adult and child Link model when patching your game to replace Link's look. For more details, I've placed a link in the description for the custom model section. Along with this change, a new setting under sound effects labeled as Link has options for adult voice and child voice, allowing you to choose either to silence Link or change the voice to be more feminine. Health and magic potions models in shops will now match your health and magic colors when the option Item Model Colors Match Cosmetics is enabled. You can now replace the text in-game by specifying the 4-character hexadecimal text ID as a gossip stone in the Plandomizer file. The Gold Skulltula token requirements can now be increased above 100. Please note that the pool must also have at least that many skull tokens in it. A softlock that would happen when a Plando would start with less than 10 beans has now been fixed. The number of Triforce pieces available per world, which was previously tied to the item pool setting, is now a separate setting, allowing you to choose how many Triforce pieces are in the pool and how many are required to beat the game. Once you select the Triforce Hunt option, these options become available to you. The Triforce piece model has also been updated so that it's shinier and more centered. The Zelda's text after defeating Ganon now advances automatically, so you can sit back and enjoy your victory without needing to press the A button. Several warp destination messages have been updated to keep consistency with the custom warp destination messages. The color of the OK and No options of the Warp Song prompts have been returned to their correct colors in Warp Song Shuffle. The devs have fixed the slow text when acquiring certain items, such as the hookshot, bomb shoes, etc. There is now a new setting called Show Seed Info on File Screen, which allows for a user set message to be displayed on the file select screen. The GUI's underlying framework for the offline build was updated to the latest version and now supports dark mode and newer Linux versions and ARM-based Macs natively. It also added better support for the website on mobile devices, with the tooltips no longer bothering the settings itself on them. Shop Sanity prices have had more customizable options added to them. This includes a new Shop Sanity option called Affordable, which sets all prices in the shops to 10 rupees to match the same option in Scrub Shuffle. A new setting called Plant Magic Beans will automatically plant all the magic beans at the start of the game. The setting Randomize Ocarina Song Notes can now be set to either a specific row of songs, like either the Frog songs or Warp songs, in addition to the Off or All songs option. A softlock caused by an 8-note Sun song that would happen when using the Randomize Ocarina Song Notes setting has been fixed. The pause screen info menu has been split into 3 menus. These show icons on the D-pads indicating which direction leads to which menu. In addition, the menu now tracks the total keys you found for a dungeon, not just how many you have remaining. The old menu from pressing A still exists as well. You can also make it so these menus only appear when holding the A button along with the D-pad by disabling Display D-pad Dungeon Info setting. A new setting bonks do damage will now deal damage to Link when Link rolls into something and bonks it. This setting will now also include one bonk KO, which will instantly kill Link when Link bonks into something. "1/16 damage hits will now always kill Link when the one-hit KO setting is enabled. The setting Blue Fire Arrows will now give ice arrows the power to melt red ice and mud walls to give the ice arrows more utility. And magic arrows that are equipped as an adult will no longer revert to the bow after traveling through time to child and back. Equipping the magic arrows will now have a much shorter animation time. You can now use the child trade item as a child using the D-pad right button. These items include Zelda's letter, the masks, etc., making them much quicker to use. The Gerudo guard on the wasteland side of the gate will now spawn regardless of settings. The horseback archery minigame will no longer delay ending based on fanfare. And a fix has been added to prevent Dead Hand from spawning outside the room collision. Setting the rainbow bridge requirements as vanilla no longer spawns the bridge without light arrows. Using Furora's Wind as both child and adult Link should no longer result in the wrong temporary flags being loaded. The randomizer has been fixed to allow tunics and shields to spawn in any room when the game attempts to spawn them. Additionally, many minor logic bugs have also been corrected. Ice traps can no longer be sent to players in the treasure chest game to prevent using deaths to circumvent finishing the chest game. Recovery hearts in several cutscenes in Master Quest dungeon rooms have now been fixed to no longer be invisible. An auto tracker context area has been added to memory, so auto trackers can now find certain symbols much easier. The Goron bracelet is no longer grayed out in the equipment subscreen of the pause menu when you're playing as an adult. On the randomizer dungeon info screen, a gold Skulltula icon now appears for dungeons where you've collected all the gold Skulltulas. The maximum amount of heart containers Link can have is now capped at 20. Pieces of heart and heart containers collected after 20 will still restore your health, but will not add to your hearts. The song from Impa is no longer restricted to a smaller set of items when Skip Child Zelda is enabled. On the file select screen, trade items that will revert to a different item on load will now show as the item they will revert to. Ganondorf will now say that the light arrows are in your pocket if they are an item you start with, as well as an item you receive at the beginning of the game due to a setting like Skip Child Zelda. The winner piece of heart will now show the proper player name in Multiworlds. You can now receive starting ice traps, either from Impa's item with Skip Child Zelda or with Plando's. There's a few additional changes that I've listed below that haven't been read off in this video. Pause here if you'd like to read them. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the new updates. I also want to say a special thank you to the people who helped me with this video. Thank you to the Infamous Bug, the Fogs, and Scarth for all their help.